Hello, I'm Lisa Linney with Johnsen Law in Kingwood, Texas. We're just northeast of the Houston metro area, and we cover the entire state of Texas. This is important to know because I help homeowners and homeowners association boards ensure that the HOA is proceeding with good governance and implementing good policies in order to fulfill its purpose. Now, the Texas HOA governance is under the framework of not only statutes but also case law. The Texas Property Code, Chapter 209, is the Texas Residential Property Owners Protection Act, and this is fundamental to the operations of an HOA board. The Texas Business Organizations Code also comes into play because boards are their own entities, even though they are not for profit. Your HOA's deed restrictions, covenants, and bylaws, the governing documents, are going to be important in the operations of the HOA and the board. Also, any legislative updates will typically affect the operations of the HOA board, and some legislative sessions are more active than others. Anyway, let's talk about the board of directors and their duties. They have a fiduciary responsibility to the association. They, in that special relationship, they are tasked with good money management of the HOA and protection of the community property and the neighborhood and the maintenance of neighborhood facilities. They also have open meetings requirements under Texas statutes. And there are also document retention obligations and conflict of interest disclosure requirements for the board members. These duties are often unknown whenever a board member is elected. And what Johnsen Law offers is an educational consultation or even a training course for these board members, or a refresher for returning board members. This includes teaching the members of the board what their responsibilities are and how to effectively execute them, and work with their management company if they have one. Now, HOAs have certain powers and limitations. They can assess fees for the HOA in order to fund its operations and its long-term capital responsibilities. They also enforce deed restrictions, and they have authority to fine for those deed restriction violations. They also have architectural committee or architectural control committee oversight. The ACC is part of the HOA's governing entity. And there are also restrictions on foreclosures, both non-judicial and judicial foreclosure requirements. We offer an overview of what these powers and limitations are, and can certainly help guide you through the legal landscape of that. We also educate HOA boards regarding the homeowners' rights to access of documents, their voting rights and procedures. This has become a hot topic lately because of the advent of electronic voting. There are also, the homeowners are also entitled to written notice regarding certain violations or fee assessment or changes in those assessments, and several other items. the members also have a right to a payment plan for delinquent assessments. And we can also teach the board about alternative dispute resolution options in order to limit protracted litigation and expenses to the HOA. Common legal challenges that HOAs will face would be selective enforcement claims, like if the HOA was not consistently applying a deed restriction. For example, if they were only finding people who left their trash cans out with even numbered addresses and not the odd numbered addresses. That's a very rudimentary example, but it can obviously be much more complicated than that and much more emotionally charged than that. A legal challenge that we specifically deal with would be board authority disputes, whether the board has exceeded its authority in their actions, or violations regarding transparency of the governing documents or the accounting or contracts that the HOA maintains with different vendors. And then there are also assessment collection limitations and architectural control committee decisions that can come under litigation. We focus on the board governance issues, and we don't address the assessment collections or the deed restriction violations typically. But we do have relationships with other attorneys who do that litigation. We focus on board governance issues and also managing the risk of the HOA. This would include D&O Insurance Requirements and helping you determine the terms of the policy that are best for your HOA. The governing document amendment procedures can be very complicated and very arduous, and we can guide you through that process. And then we can also draft the amendments in a way that can limit any challenges to those amendments that the HOA could later face in litigation. We help to develop best practices for your HOA and your board, and also make sure that your election procedures are in compliance with the law and your governing documents. And then we also provide regular review of your governing documents. We suggest that these are reviewed annually, or because there are changes in the law that come through not only the legislature, but also the courts. So the value that we add to HOA governance is educating board members. And if we're not working with the HOA and we're instead working with a homeowner, we can help to provide guidance and some negotiation power in order to bring the HOA and the board into compliance. And I have successfully worked with a homeowner in order to do that with her HOA board, and the attorney for the HOA and I were able to improve the processes for the board. Again, if you're having issues as an HOA board member or as a homeowner, we are here to help with the governance issues. We can provide training, we can provide recommendations on best practices, and we can help you with your elections and your amendments to your documents. Again, I'm Lisa Linney with Johnsen Law, and I'd love to help you out with this.
I'd like to take a moment and thank you for watching. Please like, share with a friend, save for later, or subscribe to this channel to get more videos to help your business build, grow, and succeed. And of course, you can always head over to johnsenlaw.com. That's JOHNSEN law.com for more free resources.